Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. I'm filming this video right after the Bulls just had a big-time victory over the Atlanta Hawks where freaking Andre Drummond, man. Andre Drummond going for 24 and 25. So before we get into anything right now, type those threes in the chat. Spam the chat. Spam the comment section. Andre Drummond, man, one of the most fun games I think I've watched as a Bulls fan this season. Just absolutely dominating the glass, just dominating every facet of the game. And what impressed me the most before we dive into the rumors around Caruso and LaVine, Drummond, great defensive performance. We obviously know the Atlanta Hawks, they love to run a lot of high pick and roll, man. And Drummond held his own. He held his own. Just a great overall game from Drummond. So just kind of want to give him his flowers before we dive into it, and also Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu also had a great game against the Hawks, so kind of want to show some love to those guys, but type those threes down below in the comments section. But let's dive into it. If you guys saw the headline or the title of today's show, we're going to be talking about two players for the Bulls that I think, obviously we've heard the trade rumors around Caruso and Zach LaVine for the last couple months now, and I think I know where they're going, and we're going to talk about it. So the first player, let's start off with Alex Caruso. And this trade has been floated out there a lot on Bulls Twitter, just overall Bulls media. It's Caruso to the Sacramento Kings. And I'll share you guys the trade package that's been floated around there. But let's just take this from the Kings side of things real quick. The Kings, tons of offensive talent. DeAaron Fox, Malik Monk, Sabonis. They got a lot of offensive players and a lot of skilled players there. And they got one of the most fun offenses to watch in the league. Obviously, they run very similar offense to Golden State. Obviously Mike Brown, now being the head coach for them. But could they use a guy like Alex Caruso? 100%. I think that would be a great fit because that would allow you to kind of go yin and yang with Malik Monk and Caruso kind of on and off. I think if the Kings want to take that next step, Kings are a good basketball team right now, but how can they become great? Is they think they have their number one option in DeAaron Fox, and I'm a big fan of DeAaron Fox, freak athlete. You really can't keep him in front of you. I think he's I honestly think DeAaron Fox is probably the most underrated player in the NBA in terms of stars. I mean, he's averaging damn near 30 points a game this year, and if he was anywhere else besides Sacramento, I feel like we would be talking about him in a completely different light. But if you had a backcourt of DeAaron Fox and Alex Caruso in Sacramento, I think that would be a perfect matchup because DeAaron Fox also great defender as well. He gets it done on both sides of the floor, and I think if you would add Caruso next to him, it would kind of take a little bit of stress from that side of the floor where he could focus more on the offensive end because honestly the Kings don't really have any point of attack defenders, and you would add a guy like Caruso, you're getting the best in the game. I mean, even tonight, Caruso, just the number he did on Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, man. I mean, he is truly a game wrecker out there, and Caruso, I'm gonna make this comparison right now. Caruso reminds me so much of just an elite edge rusher in the NFL, where it's yeah, you're not going to feel their impact every single game, but you got to account for them. And, when he is getting it going, he is making that highest impact he can. He can completely wreck a basketball game. We saw it with the Phoenix Suns game when he locked up Kevin Durant. We just saw it tonight where he was locking up, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. So, in terms of the fit with LaVine or Caruso to the Kings, I love it for both squads. And here was the trade package. Let me pull it up real quick. That I've seen floated out there for Caruso heading over to Sacramento. And let me know if you guys would do this trade. So, obviously, it would be the Sacramento Kings. They would be receiving Alex Caruso. And the Bulls would be receiving former, Oregon Duck, Chris Duarte, Davion Mitchell, a 2026 first-round pick, top 4 protected, and then 3 second-round picks, 2 in the year 2024, or 2 in the year 2025, and 1 in the year 2024. So one more time, the Bulls will be getting Chris Duarte, Davion Mitchell, a 2026 first-round pick, but it's top 4 protected, and then a total of 3 second-round picks for Alex Caruso. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm probably doing that trade. I love Caruso, just for all the reasons I've explained. He can be a game wrecker. I think he's the best point-of-attack defender in the NBA right now. But if you were able to get a young player in Davion Mitchell, I'm a big fan of. He's a dog on defense as well, or he tries to be a dog on defense. He plays really hard. He's not an elite defender like Caruso, but he's got some offensive game to him as well. You get that young piece, but you're getting a first-round pick, and you're getting 3 seconds, and you're getting 2 young players for a guy like Caruso. And I don't want to give up Caruso, but if the Bulls are kind of pivoting to this kind of, we're fully rebuilding, I think you got to take that trade. But just final thoughts on trading Caruso. I don't think the Bulls are going to do it. I think the Bulls, after the way they've been playing with Zach LaVine out of the lineup, I think they're going to try to trade LaVine and try to retool this roster a little bit and try to make a playoff run. Whether I agree with that or not, it's not really my call, but that's just my prediction. Just knowing how the Bulls front office has handled the last couple of years where, they think they're a lot better than they actually are. I just really don't think they're going to move off of Caruso. But, yeah, that's a trade. It was Quist Duarte, Davion Mitchell, a first-round pick, and 3 second-round picks. And I understand you're getting more guards. The Bulls already have a ton of guards, so I get that standpoint of it. But that's a trade that's been floated out there. And just let me know if you guys would do it. Alex Caruso for Quist Duarte, Davion Mitchell, a first and 3 seconds. Let me know if you guys would do it down below. But before we do get into the latest around Zach LaVine, I'm just going to be talking about why I think the Spurs would actually be a good trade fit for Chicago. I do want to give a huge shout out to PrizePick. If you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS, you guys will get a first deposit match up to $100. What is PrizePicks? Well, it's daily fantasy made easy. And how do you play? All you got to do is pick 2 or more players. You're going to choose more or less on some projected stat types. You guys can start seeing the cash roll in today. It makes some boring games even a little bit more entertaining. I use it for pretty much every single game I watched. Used it on the Bulls-Hawks game from last night. So make sure you guys do get hooked up. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. If you guys use that promo code CLNS, they're going to match your first deposit all the way up to $100. Now let's wrap today's show up talking about Zach LaVine. Yes, Zach LaVine. We've all heard the trade rumors around the All-Star guard, and I was actually talking about it with a couple guys in the office today, and I was just like, they were just asking me, like, hey, where do you think LaVine's going to go? What's the latest with him? And I think a lot of people automatically assume, like, oh, LaVine's going to go to a contender because I think they view LaVine as that trade chip where it's like, if you're the Miami Heat, maybe LaVine's the guy that gets you from a really, really, really good basketball team to a great basketball team. Same thing with the Knicks. Same thing with the Philadelphia 76ers. I just don't think those teams want to take a chance on him because it will take a decent amount to get Zach LaVine. You're going to at least have to give up a first-round pick and maybe a little more. But the team that I, actually credit to somebody in our live chat from the live show today, they suggested the San Antonio Spurs, and I love it from the Spurs side of things. Like, the Spurs are a terrible basketball team right now. They're not going to do anything this year. We know that. But you obviously have, one of the best young players in the NBA in Victor Wembanyama. And I think how do you make Victor Wembanyama's life easier, which should be the Spurs' number one kind of order of business this offseason or the rest of the season, is you go get him an elite scoring guard. Like, you want Wemby to almost be the secondary option on offense. Like, you kind of treat him as, can't really think of a comparison off the top of my head, but, you don't want him to kind of have the full-on workload this early in his career. I think you make his life easier, and you could go trade for a guy like Zach LaVine. And honestly, if I were the Bulls, let's just say the Spurs said, we'll just give you our first-round pick for next season. That will be probably top 5. You just give us LaVine, shake their hand, and you run with that deal. I would do that in a second. Obviously, you got to match contracts and everything, but I just really think maybe the Spurs could be kind of that dark horse team because everybody is expecting, LaVine to go to a contender and all that, but just keep your eyes out for the Spurs. I think LaVine might go to a different team where it's like a younger team trying to get better and just trying to get more talent. I've seen people talk about Detroit. I could see Detroit doing it as well. Just switch things up. Just get more talent in their organization because I just think contenders are probably out on LaVine considering they're probably seeing what the Bulls are doing. I think the Bulls right now are, 10-5 without LaVine this year, if I'm right, following the Hawks win. But, yeah, that's kind of the latest news and rumors around the Bulls. I was talking about Caruso heading to the Kings and Zach LaVine heading to the San Antonio Spurs. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. And as always here on the channel, you guys know what we say here. Go frickin' Bulls, baby. See y'all next time.